Okay, so welcome to module number 6, the Facebook Pixel. Now this is actually where things get a little bit more advanced and complicated and basically complex. Now let me just say this before we begin. This info, okay, this module and a little bit afterwards as well, you don't really need to know all of this to do basic Facebook ads. Okay, you can make amazing Facebook ads knowing what you know until now. Okay, you can make a ton of money from that. You can really use what you know until now and be really successful with ads. What I'm gonna go into right now, it's a little bit more advanced, a little bit more complicated, and basically knowing this, that's where your potential to be an expert Facebook marketer, Facebook advertiser, that's where it comes into hand. So for those of you that really want to leverage even more and feel that they are already understanding Facebook and how it works, and you should already know how everything works and how everything connects from what you've learned until now, this section is gonna take it one step further. So for those of you that are making, I don't know, $5,000 a day, even $10,000 a day, this is what's gonna take you to 50,000 or 100,000. Okay, even if you're making $200 a day, this info is what's gonna make you at least a few thousands, because this is really the science behind a lot of it. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, you don't really need to know for let's say advertising for clients. All of these things aren't really necessary. It does help, okay? It does help because the more you know, basically, the easier it is and cheaper it is for you to actually find your clients, okay? So if your competition doesn't know this, you're one step ahead of them. So that's why I'm teaching you this. And after all, this is a master class, and a master class is I want you to come out of here either a complete beginner or already an advanced Facebook advertiser, and I want you to come out completely new in a way that all that you've ever known, doesn't matter how much you knew before, I want you to know much more. Okay, this is the highest level that you can get with Facebook advertising, knowing this. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into it now. Optimization. Now we already went through optimization, the intro of it in module 2, I think, or 3, I don't remember. But now I want to dive a little bit more deep and explain to you how really the optimization works further than what I explained before. Okay, and this, of course, everything connects to the Facebook Pixel. When I'm talking about optimization, I'm usually talking about the website conversion ads. And as you might know already, website conversion ads are reliant on the Facebook Pixel. Okay, you're optimizing for a certain conversion. The certain conversion that happens on your website. And how does Facebook know that it happened? Because you have your Facebook Pixel installed. So anything from a view content to a add to cart, purchase, or a lead, or a complete registration, or a checkout, or whatever, all of these things are eventually conversions. Optimization is how you actually work with those conversions. Okay? Now, first of all, you have to understand what is actually the optimization, what actually happens. Now, to recap a little bit on what we talked about before, if you remember, let's say we're optimizing on we're taking an ad and we're doing basically a website conversion on it, okay? And we're doing a purchase, okay? And let's say we already have data, okay? Remember, we need to have data before we can optimize on actions like this, okay? So let's say we're targeting let's take PetSmart again. Okay, so we're targeting PetSmart. This is a 1.5 million size audience. You do website conversion purchase. It scans the entire audience. Okay, like what we talked about before. If you don't remember, I recommend you to go take a look at that video again. It scans the whole entire audience, looks at your past data that you have with the purchase pixel, with all the people that actually bought from you before. It looks on patterns that these people have, and then it finds these patterns in this audience. And then it decides that a certain segment of it, okay, so let's say the blue marker, this segment of the audience are people that are similar to the people that bought from you before, according to the patterns that Facebook found. So we'll basically show your ad to this segment of the audience, okay? Same thing with add to cart, view content, even PPC clicks to website basically scans it, and then it shows your ad to that segment of the audience, as what we talked about before. Now, other than that, there's a few more optimizations that happen here. And now it doesn't matter, even if you have like a ton of data and you're basically, let's say even you have like hundreds of cells or whatever, and you're releasing new ads, it's not that the ad is gonna just, on the first hour, it's gonna work good just because it has that past data. There is an optimization that happens even on the ad set level, okay? So what do I mean by that? So you got the ad set, you're releasing an ad set, okay, and you're optimizing for whatever. It can be add to cart, it can be purchase, it can be lead, it doesn't really matter. What actually happens is that action, it still takes time for it to optimize, even if you have data on your pixel, because there's an optimization that happens on the ad set level, and that optimization takes anywhere from 1 day to 4 days, depending on the action you optimize for. That's why you can't just assume that because you have data, you're going to release an ad set, and then in the first 24 hours it works amazing. No, it doesn't work like that. Even if you have, let's say, we're releasing an add to cart ad, okay? Even though we have, let's say, the 50 ads to cart a day, we're releasing a new ad and optimized for add to cart. It doesn't mean that this add to cart is going to work good from the first hour, because it still scans the audience, it still finds the segment, it still needs to spend money and lose money before it finds who converts on that optimization, even if it has data from before. Every time, okay, remember this, every time you release a new ad set, it needs to re-optimize, it needs to optimize basically, no matter how much data you have. Of course, I always talk about this data because this data helps it. If you didn't have any data at all, releasing an add to cart won't really do good. But even if you have the data, when you release the ad set, you still have to let it run for at least a few days. Now it depends on your budget, it depends on how many times these actions happen. That's why with a PPE, for example, or a clicks to website or a video view, the ad set optimizes really fast. It's like under 24 hours, you can already see what's going on with it because these actions happen really fast. Okay, they happen a lot. Like PPE and video views, clicks to website might take a bit more, but still even clicks to website is, and when I say clicks to website, I mean traffic, and PPE is engagement. Just for those of you that aren't aware of the of the names that we use for objectives from before, because Facebook changed the objectives. I'll have probably like this dictionary that for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about can look up. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so PPE and video views is an action that happens a lot. It happens really frequently. Okay, PPE every time an engagement happens, that's like 0.01 to 0.05 cents per engagement. So for $5 even, you're getting a ton of them a day. Same thing with video views, that's even lower than that. That's why it's really easy for Facebook to scan and find the segment extremely fast, because the conversions happen fast. But with conversions that happen more rarely and less often, it's going to take a bit more time. Okay, so an add to cart might take 3 days, 2-3 days before it really starts to work. A purchase might take 3-4 days before it starts to work. Of course, it depends on your budget as well. You can't release a $5 purchase ad and assume that after 3 days it's going to start working amazingly. Okay, I did another video on this which explained how much budget you want to put for about every conversion. But you have to understand that I don't want to make this too complicated. I want to have like a system that you understand, that you follow. But for you to follow that, I want you to really, I want this to make sense. The more that conversion happens, the faster it's going to be to optimize. Okay, so that's why when you release a website conversion ad, let's just say that when you release a website conversion ad, don't jump into conclusions before letting it run for at least 3 days. And don't release a website conversion ad less than $10 a day. Okay, I talked about that in a previous video before. I would even recommend $15 minimum daily budget. But if you're really low on budget, then even $10 is still fine. Depending again on how expensive your product is, because if you're selling a $100 product, for example, and let's say a cost per purchase, a purchase conversion is worth to, I don't know, $20, $30, and you're still going to make profit on that, then you understand that it's going to take Facebook a lot of time for it to understand who your customer is. Because for $10 a day, you actually, and your cost per purchase is, let's say, $30, literally Facebook needs to like run for 3 days on that ad to find a purchase. And you want to give it enough purchases for it to understand who your buyer is. That's why like for cheap products, it's a bit faster, okay? Because you can pay anywhere from $3 to $4 cost per purchase, and then for $10, you can get like 2-3 purchases a day, and then after like 3-4 days, it can already find a pattern. But when your products are more expensive, it involves more data, which means you need higher budgets. That's why if you're going for regular priced items, and by regular I mean anything from $10 to like $30, $35, your budget shouldn't be below $15. Minimum, maybe 10. And you shouldn't let it run less than 3 days. You have to let it run for at least 3 days. Website conversion ad, even 4 days. 3-4 days is the minimum before you even need to jump to conclusions. Now we're gonna go over metrics later on, and I'm gonna explain to you what you wanna look at and understand what you need, how to know if an ad is working good, and how do you know if there's potential or not. That we're gonna do in a later video, but I just want you to understand that you can't let the website conversion ad run less than that before deciding, because these optimizations don't happen, these conversions don't happen often enough. A PPE, a video view ad, you can let it run for 24 hours and you already know what's going on, because again, it's extremely fast. It scans it and it finds engagers. So it's pretty fast. Video view is the same, even clicks to website, you're probably paying anywhere from like 40 cents to $1. Still pretty fast. Website conversions, slower. So add to cart is going to be a bit faster than purchases. Purchases is going to be the most slowest. Expensive purchases are going to be the most slowest, if that makes sense. So you have to let it run at least a few days, because there's an optimization that happens on the ad set level, other than the data that you have on your pixel. Again, you don't want to release website conversion ads before you have at least some traction. Okay, some traction is anywhere from I think I talked about this before, but just to remind you, traction is anywhere around 20 conversions a day. Okay, sorry about my shitty handwriting. A day. So what do I mean by that? I'm talking about overall pixel data. So if you have 20 conversions a day on a certain event, that's enough for you to optimize for that. So if you're having 20 ads to cart a day on the pixel, I'm talking, not on a specific product or on a specific ad set. So if your question is, how do I know what I need to optimize for? You always want to optimize on the objective that is most closest to your goal, which is either purchase or lead most of the time, if it has 20 conversions a day. If it doesn't, go one step back. Okay, so purchases don't have 20 conversions a day. How many ads to cart do you have? Do you have 20 ads to cart a day? So 20 conversions on the add to cart? If yes, then you have a green light, you can release an add to cart ad. Same thing with lead view content. Again, if you don't have even 20 ads to cart, go one step behind to the view content. I explained that as well in a video. And again, it's not always about what is the most closest to your goal. Sometimes more data is even better. So even if you have like 20 conversions on a purchase, it doesn't mean that it's going to work better than 50 conversions a day on an add to cart if you release an add to cart ad. Okay, it's all about splitting and testing. But overall guideline, okay, so you don't like scatter around and like get confused. Ask yourself, do I have 20 conversions on this a day? If the answer is yes, I'll release an ad. If the answer is no, I'll go one step behind. Okay, one step behind and I'll release that ad set. Okay. Now, other than that, and this one is really important, and a lot of people aren't talking about this enough. Okay, this is actually what divides really, really successful Facebook marketers to average Facebook marketers, and that's basically how the pixel really works with the data that it gets. Now, I know I explained that before, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about eventually what is the Facebook pixel. Okay, the Facebook pixel gathers data, right? So you're getting, let's say you have a fishing store. Okay, you have a fishing store, and you're getting 50 buyers a day. Okay, whatever, 50 buyers a day. Now, you can agree with me that the 50 people that buy in a fishing store are pretty similar. They probably like the same things. They're probably the fans of the same pages. They probably have very similar behaviors. How does the pixel really know to scan this? You know what? Let's get another audience. Let's take what's the name? Ugly Stick, I think. That's like a big fishing or hunting interest. I'm not sure. So that's like let's say that's 2 million. So if you optimize on a certain action, okay, a certain conversion. So let's say we go with purchase, okay, just for the example, because you have 50 a day. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that in blue. Now, as you know, as I explained before, it scans the audience and then it decides that this segment or whatever segment is related to your past buyers. Now, how does it know that? Similar people have similar patterns. Okay, so the Pixel, Facebook, basically looks at these patterns that people have. Okay, so it takes all of these 50 buyers a day, let's say in 2 weeks, that's 500, that's like 700 buyers, I think. Yeah, it's 700 buyers in 2 weeks. It looks at these 700 buyers, okay? It finds patterns in these 700 buyers, similar patterns, and then it looks for people with the same patterns and shows them the ad. So patterns can be anything from pages they like, demographics, where do they live, their age, their gender, their relationship status, the interests that they're in, how active they are on Facebook, and a gazillion other things. So it looks at these patterns, and then it finds people that are similar to those patterns, and then shows them. The ad, and that's how it basically segments the audience and knows to show your this audience your ad because they're similar to the buyers. But what happens if your store or your niche or whatever you're offering is a bunch of random things combined? Okay, let's say you have not a fishing store. Let's say you have a general store. Okay, let's say you have a general store. General store, and in this general store, okay, you're selling fishing gear and dancing shoes and wine bottles and beer and gadgets and woman bras, okay, whatever. So let's say you're selling all of this in one store. All of that is on one pixel, okay? What happens here is that all of these people are so different that Facebook has a hard time finding patterns. Okay, Facebook has a hard time finding patterns in a fisherman, a dancer, a wine drinker, a beer drinker, a gadget lover, and a woman that buys bras on the internet. It finds difficulties in finding patterns. And then what happens is that it finds very, very general patterns. Okay, like maybe age or very, very specific pages that they like, that all of these like together, which is probably very rare. Okay, it's not like everybody's a fisherman. Everybody's a fisherman. They probably like very similar pages. They're probably all single men over the ages of 35. Okay, just a random example. But here we're dealing here with fishermen. We're dealing here with dancers, wine drinkers, gadget lovers, and women. Okay, we're dealing here with a lot of different types of people, a lot of different types of behaviors. Okay, what happens here? The pixel, when you actually target a specific audience, again, it's going to do the same thing. Okay, let's say you have, 50 purchases a day here as well. And these 50 purchases are divided between 10 people buy fishing stuff, 15 people buy dancing stuff, 5 people buy wine stuff, 10 people buy gadgets, and another 10 buy women bras. Okay, so we have very, very, very random buyers. Then what happens is when you target an audience, or any audience, for example, because sometimes you might target a fishing audience, sometimes you might target women bras, sometimes you might target a wine audience. Facebook takes that data of all of these random buyers and it tries to find a pattern, and it will have a hard time. Okay, it won't optimize as good as it will optimize if you had a fishing store and you only targeted fishermen. Okay, it's gonna have a harder time because it's harder for it to find the patterns. Okay, that makes sense, right? Because it's different people, it's different behaviors, it's different demographics. The pattern is gonna be very, very different. It's not gonna be as similar as it was before. That's why when you're actually dealing with stuff like this, you have two decisions, okay? Either you have one pixel 1 pixel per per business, and your business needs to be one type of person. Okay, so you need to have a fishing store, you need to have a dancing store, or you need to be a chiropractor, or you need to be a dentist. You can't be a dentist and a chiropractor. Okay, you can, but you have to do something different. And then you have 1 pixel per business, 1 pixel per website. Or you have one overall pixel, and then you create custom conversions. Custom conversions is like sub pixels underneath a big pixel, which we'll get into as well very, very soon. So what you can do is you can have one overall pixel on the general store. Then you're going to have one fishing custom conversion, which is like a small pixel, one dancing custom conversion, one wine custom conversion, one gadget custom conversions, and so on and so on and so on. So then you optimize on that custom conversion, which is, again, it's another pixel, it's just a type of pixel. You'll optimize on that instead of optimizing on your overall pixel. Why is that? Because you want to keep the data separate. You want fishing to have its own data. You want dancing to have its own data. You want wine to have its own data. You don't want to mix everything. Okay, you don't want to mix everything. You don't want to have a lot of businesses mixed out. Now, usually most of the times, I know a lot of people that are doing Facebook ads today they are doing e-commerce. That's why I'm giving you this example. Most people that do Facebook ads don't have a lot of random things in one business. They usually have one type of business, one type of niche. Either they're a chiropractor, or they have a gym, or they're selling sunglasses or whatever. They have one type of niche. But I know a lot of people that are probably watching this, they have a bunch of different things. Now I'm telling you, you can make this work with 1 pixel and optimize, like I said. But you're going to have a harder time because Facebook won't optimize as efficiently. That's why I would recommend 1 pixel, and then you have custom conversions per niche. So you have a fishing custom conversion, a dancing custom conversion, a wine, and so on, and so on, and so on. That's my recommendation, because then what's happening is that when you optimize on a certain custom conversion, which is a pixel after all, you're optimizing on only the data of one of the niches. Okay, you understand? And then it doesn't mix up the dancing and the wine and everything else. It just takes that data and optimizes on that. I really hope that made sense. So then when it scans it, it'll look, if you optimize on that custom conversion, it will scan it and only scan the audience and show your ad to the segment that we talked about before. But if you take one overall pixel and you optimize on that pixel and all of this data is mixed up, Facebook is going to have a really hard time optimizing correctly. Other than that, we have and this is, I think, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to optimization. We have what kind of optimization? When I say optimization, what do I mean in terms of data? Okay, so it can be, you can have a pixel, you can have an ad account with thousands of purchases 6 months ago, but nothing happened in the last month. Or you can have a pixel with 300 purchases and it all happened in the last 2 weeks. What's better? Facebook works on relevant, fresh data. Okay? Now, it's not 100%. It's not like it's black and white. It prefers fresh data. So, the pixel prefers fresh data. Okay? So it prefers fresh data. What do I mean by fresh data? Anything that happened in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so if you have, I don't care if you have 100 gazillion purchases that happened 2 years ago on the pixel, but nothing happened in the last 3 months, because it's better than nothing, but it won't work as good as if you have data in the last 2 weeks. That's why you want to look at what happened in the last 2 weeks and what you have overall in the last history of the pixel. So fresh data equaling to weeks. I have no idea why I'm writing not straight, but you get the point. Okay? Fresh data, 2 weeks. Okay, last 2 weeks you want to look on the data. So when I'm saying you want to look what you have, at least like 20 conversions. And when I say 20, it can be 20, it can be 18 to 25. It doesn't have to be 20. You're looking at what's going on in the last 2 weeks. Sorry. Okay. That's a big thing, because a lot of people, what they're doing is they're looking at overall data the pixel has from, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, but actually they didn't have a lot of data in the last 2 weeks, then that doesn't optimize correctly. That's why you want to look at what's going on in the last 2 weeks. Okay? So, let's recap really quickly. Okay? Really quickly, let's recap, and then we'll move on. So, we have the pixel, right? We're optimizing on a certain action, right? That certain action, it scans the audience. Okay, so it scans the audience depending on the conversion that you optimize for. Okay, so again, let's take lead, for example, this time. Okay, so website conversion lead. Okay, so you optimize on lead, you target a 3 million audience. Let's say we're targeting Tony Robbins. Okay, you have data, you have 20 conversions on your lead at least a day in the last 2 weeks. So you can optimize on that. It scans it and then it decides, okay, I'm looking at the patterns. Okay, the patterns, remember, because if it's similar patterns, it's pretty easy for Facebook to connect everything and find similar patterns. It scans and looks, okay, this section is very similar to the people that converted before. Okay, if you don't have 20 conversions a day on the lead, let's take it one step behind, which is probably a view content. Again, so you optimize for view content, and then I'll do the same exact thing. If you have a lot of different niches on your pixel, then you want to have custom conversions built under them. I'll explain more on custom conversions in a later video. For example, let me give you an example of one of my businesses. So as you know, I do Facebook ads, shocking, but I do e-commerce as well. So what actually happens is that I have 2 lists. What do I mean by list? I have email lists, right, of people like yourself that are subscribed to my list, and they get my content. Now I have 2 lists. I have an e-com list and I have a Facebook ads list. So people that want to learn Facebook ads, they stumble upon my Facebook ads landing page, they subscribe, and then they are added to my Facebook ads list. Then I have my other list, which is my e-com list. So people that want to learn how to open a store and sell physical products, they'll subscribe to that. And that's 2 separate lists, right? People that learn e-com, they're pretty similar. Like, I won't argue that people that want to learn e-com don't want to learn Facebook ads and vice versa, but I still want to separate them because I want them to have separate data. I want to have a pixel that's responsible only on my e-com stuff and a pixel that's only responsible on my Facebook ads stuff. That way, when I optimize on like e-com leads or Facebook ads leads, it's going to optimize only on Facebook ads leads and not going to mix up the e-com and vice versa. Okay, that's why what happens is that I have 1 pixel, but I have 2 custom conversions. Okay, so 2 custom conversions. I have the e-com custom conversions. Okay, custom conversion. Now I have an e-com custom conversion lead, right? And I have an e-com custom conversion view content. Again, custom conversion is the same thing as a pixel. Okay, you build like you have your lead pixel or view content pixel or add to cart or whatever. You could create custom conversions, which is just like a separate pixel that you optimize for that gathers data in a different way. Okay, so that's how you separate it. And then I have my Facebook ads custom conversion, which is Facebook ad, whatever custom conversion lead, right? And then Facebook, oops, I should erase that. I have a Facebook ads custom conversion view content. Okay, 1 pixel, and then I have e-com custom conversion lead, e-com custom conversion view content, and Facebook ads custom conversion lead, Facebook ads custom conversion view content. I'm going to explain view content I'm going to explain that custom conversion very soon. But this way I'm actually separating the 2 audiences and the data. That's when I'm optimizing on the Facebook ads lead pixel, it's not going to mix up this. And when I'm optimizing for the e-com custom conversion lead, it's not going to mix up this. Okay? And that's basically it on this. And I'll see you in the next video. I hope that made sense. If not, don't be shy and just post a question in the group, and me or some other advanced marketer will get to it. But I think it was pretty straightforward. Anyway, See you in the next video.